It was a quiet morning in Fruity Friend's world. The soft light of the sun touched the hills, and the gentle wind moved through the trees like a quiet song. Apple loved mornings like this. They made the world feel wide and full of possibilities. Most days, Apple stayed close to the village with Banana and Strawberry. They laughed, explored small paths, and shared stories under the tall trees. But on this particular morning, something felt different. Apple wanted to see more. Just a little more. "I won't go far," Apple whispered to himself. The path ahead looked peaceful. Small flowers grew along the edges, and the grass shimmered under the sunlight. Birds moved quietly above, and everything felt calm. Step by step, Apple continued forward. First, the journey felt exciting. Every turn revealed something new: a taller tree, a quieter hill, a softer breeze. Apple imagined telling his friends about this place later. They would be impressed. They would wish they had come along. After a while, Apple stopped walking and turned around. The path behind him looked unfamiliar. The trees seemed closer together. The hills no longer looked the same. Apple stared quietly. Something wasn't right. He walked back a few steps, then a few more, but nothing looked familiar. The flowers were different, the stones were different, even the wind sounded different. A quiet feeling settled inside him. "Did I come this way?" Apple tried another direction, then another. Each path looked almost the same. The sun slowly climbed higher into the sky. Time passed quietly, too quietly. Apple called out, "Banana." Only the wind answered, "Strawberry." The trees stood still. Apple had never noticed how quiet the world could be. For the first time that day, the adventure didn't feel exciting anymore. It felt uncertain. Apple kept walking. He told himself that the village must be close. It had to be close. But the more he walked, the less certain he became. The shadows slowly shifted across the ground. The bright morning light began to soften. Apple stopped near a large tree. He tried to remember every turn he had taken: left, right, straight ahead. It all blended together. Maybe exploring alone wasn't such a good idea. The thought stayed with him. Apple sat quietly. The wind moved through the leaves above. He listened carefully. Every small sound felt important. Every movement felt bigger than before.
Apple realized something he had never thought about before. Being brave didn't always mean going forward. Sometimes it meant knowing when to turn back. But now turning back wasn't simple anymore. The path home felt far away, much farther than it had that morning. Apple lowered his voice. "I should have told someone where I was going." The words felt heavy. Time continued to pass. The light began to change again. The colors of the hills grew warmer. Long shadows stretched across the ground. Apple stood up slowly. He didn't want to stay lost. He took a careful step forward. Then another. Not rushing this time. Not guessing. Just moving and watching. Then something unexpected happened. A faint sound reached him. Soft at first. Almost impossible to hear. Apple stood still. He listened. There it was again. A voice. Distant but familiar. "Apple." Apple's eyes widened. He listened closely. "Apple." It was Banana. Relief spread through him like warmth. "I'm here," Apple called. For a moment there was silence. Then the sound of movement. Leaves shifting. Branches brushing. Soon Banana appeared between the trees. Strawberry followed close behind. Their faces showed both worry and relief. "There you are," Banana said. "You've been searching everywhere." Strawberry smiled softly. "We followed small marks along the path." Apple looked down. Some leaves had been moved. Small signs he never noticed before. "You found me," Apple said quietly. Banana nodded. "Of course we did." Strawberry stepped closer. "You don't have to explore alone." Apple felt something different now. Not fear, not excitement. Understanding. "I thought I knew the way," Apple said. Banana smiled. "Sometimes the way looks different when you're alone." The three friends began walking together. This time the path felt clearer. Not because the trees had changed. Not because the hills were different. But because Apple wasn't alone. The village slowly came into view. Familiar shapes. Familiar colors. A place that felt safe. Apple looked back once. The distant trees stood quietly under the evening light. They didn't seem frightening anymore, just far away. That day, Apple learned something important. Curiosity can lead to wonderful places, but sharing the journey makes it easier to find the way home. And even small adventures can teach big lessons. As the sun slowly disappeared beyond the hills, Fruity Friend's world grew quiet again. But somewhere beyond the trees, another path waited. Another story. Another D.